guys for coming and being my audience today. What I'd like to discuss today is volcanoes. And then you're living in Boone, you're around a lot of mountains, Grandfather and even Howard's Knob here, that aren't volcanoes. But just imagine that's Mount St. Helens in 1980, when it erupted, and then the people and the shock that they had from seeing that above their homes. What I'd like to talk about is the number of volcanoes in the United States, which there's over 200, which I wasn't aware of. They're spread out in 12 states, with Alaska having the most at 141, and then a way distant second is Hawaii with 18, Oregon was 17, Washington State was 7, and then Hawaii comes in at a distant 5th, even though it's probably one of the most active. Some of the past eruptions, we've had Kilauea in Hawaii that's been erupting since 1983. So it's been erupting the whole time, but it actually became more active in 2018. One of the largest eruptions in the 20th century was Nova Rupta in Alaska. And then they've had a bunch of low-level eruptions since then. Within the continental United States, we've had Mount St. Helens in 1980, and then Lassen Peak in 1915 in California, and then Mount Shasta in California way back in 1786, with most of the other eruptions happening before that. While they're 5th in number, Hawaii is actually the most active with 4 active volcanoes at this time. Alaska actually has 3 active ones at this time as well. Currently in the continental United States, there's no active volcanoes. Of course, the United States kind of pales in comparison to Indonesia and South America and all these other places, and Iceland, which had the big one in 2010. But we are still susceptible to volcanoes. Today, we've talked about the number of volcanoes in the United States, both continental and Alaska and Hawaii. We've covered their locations, the number of eruptions in recent history, as well as the current eruptions that could happen. It's easy to forget about the destruction that volcanoes could cause, but it's not something we really have to worry about here in North Carolina. But there are areas in the western part of the United States, as well as Alaska and Hawaii, that are susceptible to these eruptions on a daily basis. The destructive power of these is immense, and it actually does affect all of us at some point. If you've ever had an opportunity to travel in the West and you see these volcanoes, just realize the potential disaster that's lies beneath. Thanks.